Hey Ben, this is Rob from New York, longtime listener, first time caller. I'm a Mets fan, and during our last series against the Red Sox, there were fans at Citi Field booing Francisco Lindor 19 games into a 10-year contract. And I've seen Yankee fans do the same to Stanton for the last several years. I was wondering your take on, is it ever okay to boo your own players for on-the-field struggles? And if so, how far into the season does it become acceptable? Because I'm sure 19 games is not the answer. Anyway, I'll hang up and listen for your response. Thanks.
Rob, thank you for the question. I love this question because I'm fairly passionate about this. I hate it. I hate booing your own players with a passion. I think we have an issue with it, and I think the fact that they're booing Francisco Lindor, like you said, 19, 20 games into a 10-year deal is insane. Look, I'm fine booing the opponent. I'm fine booing the other team, but this is your guy. He's your guy, and he's one of the best players in the league. He's one of the best shortstops in the league, and he's just coming over, moving his entire family, moving to New York City, where you're absolutely torn apart if you don't do well. He doesn't need the fans on the other side. Look, he knows more than anybody he's struggling. I promise you that. I promise you he knows he's struggling. So stop going after him for having a rough stretch to start the year. I absolutely hate when your own players are being booed. I just don't get it. You want him to do well. He wants to do well. Everybody in the Mets organization, including the fans, want him to do well. And he knows that it's not going well. So stop booing the guy, please. And I also wanted to talk about how we just have a booing problem altogether in baseball. Look, we got to cut this out. There is a huge problem. I've been to now a few different stadiums this year, and there's becoming a booing epidemic, and it's awful. A pitcher picks off, the opposing pitcher picks off to first base, boo! A reliever comes out of the bullpen in the fourth inning, boo! What are we doing, guys? Like, would you have rather them not show up? Would you have rather them just stay home? Like, it's becoming ridiculous. And I get it at some points. And look, it's just like we need to, there's a booing problem. So I'm glad you asked this question, because first and foremost, the thing I hate the most is booing your own players, because nobody's being harder on themselves than Francisco Lindor. That I can promise you. So please, Mets fans, give it a rest. It'll turn around. He's one of the best shortstops in the league. All right, voicemail number 2, hit me.
Hey, Ben, this is Richard from Richmond. Do you remember an incident when you played for the Stanton Braves involving a clearing of the bench that was not caused by a fight?
Thanks. Great question. I do remember a clearing of the bench that did not happen because of a fight. I totally forgot about this until just now. I was playing in a summer league in college in Stanton, Virginia, in the Valley League. And we cleared the benches because a skunk was found in a dugout. So there was no fight. There was nothing. All of a sudden, I just see players running out of my dugout. And I'm like, what's going on? What am I missing? What am I missing? And all of a sudden, I hear, skunk! So we run out of the dugout, and the game is delayed a good 20 to 30 minutes because there was a skunk literally in our dugout. It was an older field, an older stadium, and apparently this skunk lived underneath the stadium, and every once in a while it decided to crawl out. And this game, it sure did, and it was a stinky situation. But great question. Hit me with the next one.
Hey, Ben, this is Carl. Wanted to know your thoughts on all the talk revolving around exit velocity. It seems like this is all we are talking about now, and in my view, this is not a real stat. No one is getting a contract based on exit velocity. yet
Disagree
this is
with that.
all we talk about. Why should I care as a fan about the exit velocity? In my head, 80 miles an hour versus 110 miles an hour, as long as it's over the fence, that's all that should matter here. Why are so many people just so invested in this non-stat? Thanks.
All right, I like that question. But where I'm going to disagree with you is that it's not helping or hurting players with contracts. I disagree. And at the end of the day, this is a business. Baseball players are judged based off of what they do on the field. And as we get more and more numbers and more analytics, it's becoming even more so you're judged by your numbers. And I promise you, teams are looking at exit velocity as a stat when determining how much to pay a guy. Oh, okay, in 2015, your average exit velocity was this. In 2020, your average velocity went down 2 miles an hour. So you're clearly on a downward trend. So we're not going to pay you as we would have if it were this. It matters, I promise you. It's the same with spin rate. Is it an actual stat? No, but it's a number that we get. It's a number that we know, and it's a number that we know what it means. And it matters, and teams are looking at it, and I promise you it matters. But if that's not the only reason you should care, but I also think I think it's cool. I think that's the thing that for fans is it's cool to see. Like, it's cool to see Giancarlo Stanton hit a home run and see that had a 115 mile an hour exit velocity. But yeah, but for the most part, I understand what you're saying. Like, it's not a stat that goes down in the record books by any means. But why you should care about it is because your favorite players are being judged off of it. I promise you that. Thanks for watching. If you love flipping bats, swinging 3-0, or just talking ball, join us. Call us at 213-537-9339 with your questions. We have a weekly guest, and we have a lot of fun, so hit that subscribe button.